My fiancé slammed a stack of legal papers on the table and said, "Sign the house over to me, or the wedding is off." What happened next completely blew her away. Hello, Reddit I plus here. I am a 34-year-old software analyst. Until a month ago, I thought my life was finally stable. Good career, solid savings, and a wedding 2 weeks away. That illusion shattered on a quiet Sunday afternoon in the house my grandmother left me. The house matters. It is not flashy, but it is home. My grandparents bought it in the early 60s. I grew up learning to ride a bike on that driveway. When my grandmother passed, she left it to me with a handwritten note that said, "Keep this place safe." I took that seriously. My fiancé was 31. We had been together just over 3 years and engaged for 9 months. The wedding was planned down to the napkin colors. Deposits paid. Guest list at 200. Everyone thought we were the perfect couple. That Sunday, she asked me to sit down in the living room. She was calm in a way that felt rehearsed. She placed a thick folder on the coffee table and slid it toward me. "Sign these," she said, "or the wedding is off." At first I laughed because it sounded like a joke that missed the landing. Then I opened the folder. Deed transfer documents. Fully completed. My name listed as the current owner. Her name listed as the sole new owner. The only thing missing was my signature. I asked what this was. She removed her engagement ring and placed it beside the papers, very deliberately. "If you love me, you will put the house in my name. I need to feel secure before we get married." I reminded her that the house had been in my family for decades, that I inherited it long before I met her, that we could do a prenup if security was her concern. She shook her head. "That is not enough. I want it now, before the wedding. This is how I know you will not leave me later." My closest friend was there helping assemble wedding favors. His eyes went wide. He said what I was thinking, that the demand was extreme, that the house was worth close to $900,000 based on recent sales. She snapped at him and told him to mind his business. Then she dropped the line that changed everything. "I already told my family the house would be mine." I stood up so fast the chair scraped the floor. I asked her what she meant. She said her father needed collateral for a business loan. She told him our house could be used. She corrected herself and said her house, once I signed. Her father had a history, multiple failed ventures, burned bridges, lawsuits. The idea of my grandmother's home being tied to his debts made my stomach twist. My friend quietly texted someone. When she noticed, she demanded to know who. He told her his cousin was a property lawyer and was nearby. She said lawyers meant I did not trust her. That was when she called her father. Within 15 minutes, her father and 2 adult brothers walked into my living room without knocking. No greeting, no respect. They spoke like they already owned the place. One brother commented on how removing a wall would increase resale value. The other joked about turning the guest room into an office for their father. I told them all to leave. Her father stepped closer and accused me of ruining her daughter's future. He said, "A man proves commitment with assets." Then my fiancée smiled and pulled a pregnancy test from her purse. 2 lines. She said if I did not sign, I would be making my unborn child homeless. I felt dizzy. We had not been trying. We had been careful. My friend asked quietly if she had seen a doctor. She ignored him. Before I could respond, there was a knock at the door. My elderly neighbor came in, clearly distressed. She said a moving truck was parked outside and men were loading furniture from my house. We ran outside. 2 movers were carrying my couch. They showed paperwork. My fiancé had hired them. The document listed her as the homeowner. She had planned this. All of it. The police were called. The movers stopped. Her family started yelling. My friend's cousin arrived and calmly explained several laws they were violating. Suddenly, the confidence drained from their faces. The officers asked everyone but me to leave. That night, I packed a bag and stayed with my friend. The next morning, I contacted a lawyer of my own. A week later, the engagement was officially over. Here is the final twist. The pregnancy was fake. The test was expired. My lawyer later learned she had tried a similar stunt in a previous relationship. The house is still mine. The wedding is canceled. Deposits were lost, but I consider it cheap tuition for the lesson I learned. Love does not demand ownership. Trust does not arrive with paperwork already filled out. And if someone asks you to betray your past to secure their future, walk away. After the engagement collapsed, I thought the worst part was over. I was wrong. What followed was months of manipulation. emotional whiplash, and legal intimidation that finally showed me who she really was. About 3 weeks after the breakup, she sent the first message. It was not an apology. It was a paragraph about how stressed she was, how her family was falling apart, how everyone blamed her, and how she could not sleep anymore. She ended it with, "I just need to talk. You owe me that after everything." I did not respond. 2 days later, she showed up at my workplace. She waited in the parking lot until my shift ended. When I walked out, she was leaning against her car like this was some romantic movie moment. She looked exhausted on purpose. No makeup, oversized sweater, the image of regret. She started crying before I could even speak. She said her family pressured her. She said she panicked about the future. She said she never meant for things to go that far. She even said the moving truck was her father's idea, not hers. Then she tried nostalgia. She reminded me of our first vacation, inside jokes, promises we once made. She said no one would ever understand me the way she did. When that did not work, her tone shifted. She accused me of abandoning her. She said I embarrassed her in front of her family. She said I ruined her reputation by calling the police. I told her calmly that this conversation was over and asked her not to contact me again. She laughed and said, "You cannot just erase me from your life like that." The next move was mutual friends. Suddenly, people I had not heard from in years were checking in on me. They all said the same thing in different words. She was struggling. She was heartbroken. She was not mentally well. I should be the bigger person. I should forgive her. One even suggested I give her a financial settlement to help her move on. I stopped answering those messages too. Then came the legal threat. I received a letter from a law office claiming she had equitable interest in my home due to future marital expectations, emotional investment, and alleged pregnancy-related damages. My lawyer laughed out loud when he read it. He responded with facts. No marriage, no shared ownership, no pregnancy, no claim. That should have ended it. Instead, she escalated. She filed a civil claim anyway. She demanded compensation for emotional distress, wedding costs, and what she called loss of anticipated marital assets. She wanted a cash settlement large enough to make me uncomfortable. The court date came. She showed up dressed like a grieving widow. Her family sat behind her. She avoided looking at me. My lawyer presented evidence: the fake pregnancy test, the pre-filled deed transfer, the unauthorized movers, text messages showing coercion and ultimatums. Her lawyer tried to argue intention and expectation. The judge shut that down quickly. The judge asked her one simple question: "Did you ever legally own this property?" She said no. That was it. The case was dismissed, but she was not done. After losing in court, she tried one last angle: vulnerability. She emailed me a long message about how she hated who she had become, how she felt empty, how she only wanted closure, how she would go to therapy if I just met her once. I did not respond. I blocked her everywhere. The final update came from someone else. Apparently, she tried the same pressure tactics with another man months later. Different house, different promises, same entitlement. That relationship ended quickly too. As for me, the house is quiet again. I repainted the living room, donated the wedding favors, turned the guest room into a study. The note from my grandmother is still in the drawer by the door. "Keep this place safe." I did. Lesson learned. Anyone who tries to take from you before giving anything back is not building a future with you. They are shopping for one.